Welcome to the Williams warm-up, where we'll look towards the next event, which is the Saudi Grand Prix. In many regards, there are elements to it that match what we've just had in Bahrain. We're still obviously on the continent where the temperatures are very similar at night to where they are between the two events. It's a night race, so we're not racing in the daytime anymore, which has quite a large effect in terms of solar radiation, but that's where the similarities stop. It's a very different circuit, both in terms of the corner layouts, in terms of the energy that goes in terms of how the tyres perform, and how the track surface is as well. And so between the two events, there's quite a bit of setup change and learning that has to be reapplied again. What we've learned for Bahrain isn't all going to carry over, and it just means in that short period of time in P1 and P2, we've got a tremendous amount of work to do to get the most out of the package. So the differences are obviously there's some quite large single braking zones, like turn 1, for example. So you need good stability in straight line, slow the car right down, and you need good traction getting out of there. And Bahrain doesn't really have corners quite to that extent where you're slowing the car down as much. The next element is there's a lot of high speed in Saudi. And in fact, in terms of rear wing level, which denotes the straight line speed and the drag, I think you might see competitors just taking off a little bit more rear wing than they had in Bahrain. You have to find a compromise because there's a lot of straight line. There's also a lot of high speed content in Saudi, and you need a strong package in the high speed and a stable package in the high speed to get the most out of it. Stable because the difference as well is walls there are just centimeters from the wheel, whereas in Bahrain there's a little bit more flexibility. So some things that are similar, some that are very different. The wind probably won't be as strong as it was in Bahrain. The wind was actually quite strong for us a number of the days and rotated. It's a sea breeze in Saudi. We're actually quite close to the sea there. And that also means that it dies down in the evening. So quite different effects between the FP1, FP3, and then qualifying and race sessions.
Coming to club, and we're good to go. We just 1 week after Bahrain. My fellow race engine is not here with me. He left me alone to do this, but he just wanted to run out to the hotel, have a nice meal. It's nearly 11 p.m. in Jeddah, but we're happy to be here. Bahrain was good. I think we had trouble in the race that are fixed. We're confident that we're on top of the issues and we're going to be able to race in a better position this week. I think that we were very close to be on the door of scoring points. We were, I think, P11 if we didn't have any of the issues, so that was a good effort, good performance. We think the car is better than it was last year, so we're looking forward for this weekend. Sully is also in the desert. It's also a night race, but it's very different. It's a city track, it's a permanent city track, but it's very high speed. Between walls. The wind is also a big factor. It's also day session, night session, but it's later in the day, so it's probably a bit less of a swing. The high speed characteristic of the track is the big thing compared to Bahrain. There's probably a bit more low speed. The track characteristic and the tarmac are also very different. So the management of the tire, the approach of the qualifying of the race are very different. So I think it's fair to say we need to reset a lot of the learnings we had in Bahrain and start over again. This is a very high-speed track. It obviously affects how we set up the car. I think there's a driver mindset as well. Having this kind of terminal velocity speed, cornering speed between the walls is a challenge, and so you try to think of that when you prepare the run plan for the drivers, so they can build up to what we expect them to reach in terms of speed. And you also try to tune your setup around this. So there's obviously the rear wing level you're running is going to be different to Bahrain because of the high speed and specificity of the track. But you also want to set up the car for having a car that is probably giving more confidence to the driver in high speed, and you're probably going to move or you set up the car for the weekend to go as the driver learn the track. So again, like I said before, it's a very different challenge, and you approach the track quite differently. Bahrain was also a bit unique in the fact that you had 3 days of test, so each driver has a day and a half in the car, so you arrive in the race weekend prepared. At the moment, this track, we only prepared it in the deal, and the driver will have to confront themselves to the rear car on track, which is another challenge. But I think it's fair to say that expectations from the team are always high. Looking at last week, we had the car and the potential to play for that P11 position. We know 5 teams are quicker. 5 teams are looking at the top 10 position and the scoring position. But if anything happens, we want to be that team that is there and in position to score. We didn't achieve to do that last week because what we discussed earlier, and we didn't do a perfect job of rationally operating the car where they should be in the race. But we understand what to do to achieve that this weekend, and that's definitely the goal, is be in the position of scoring points if anything happens ahead of us.
Formula One is back in Saudi Arabia for the 4th time, and with barely time to breathe after the season opener in Bahrain, we're looking forward to seeing what the 2024 edition has in store. Situated on the Red Sea coastline, the Jeddah Corniche circuit has more than lived up to its billing as the fastest street track in F1. 2021's pole position clocked in with an average speed of 254 km per hour, making it the 2nd quickest circuit on the calendar after Monza. The 20 drivers will cover plenty of ground at those speeds thanks to the 6.74 kilometre lap distance. That length puts the Jeddah Corniche circuit behind only Belgium's Spa-Francorchamps and on a par with the Las Vegas street circuit on the list of the longest tracks currently in F1. There are a staggering 27 turns, the most on any track this year, with the hairpins at turn 13 and turn 27 on opposite ends of the track, providing ample opportunities for overtaking. The banked turn 13 sits at 12 degrees. Although less than Zandvoort's impressive 19-degree turn 3, it's still steeper than the 9-degree banking found at the iconic Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The 3 DRS zones will aid wheel-to-wheel racing too, most notably down the main straight and into the heavy braking of the first corner. And the corners just keep on coming for those brave souls in the cockpit. Turn 4 through to turn 12 is an unrelenting, twisting section of track, which will give drivers no chance to rest. And as with all the great street circuits, the walls are ready to punish any driver who makes even the slightest mistake. There is no margin for error here. Like the other races in the region, the 50-lap Saudi Arabian Grand Prix will run under floodlights, brightly illuminating the racetrack's layout on the waterfront. So who will shine brightest on Saturday? Find out by joining us on the Williams Racing app for exclusive insight from inside the garage.